On today's show, Mike O'Connor suggests the Sixers are officially in the Zugzwang. We will explain what that is, try to answer it, explain their basic paths after this year, and decide which one is best or which one is least worst. Joe Embiid still not playing, some interesting mailbag questions, and the Sixers beat the Nets in a wholeheartedly uninspiring way, as they are famous for doing. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. Brought to you by Anthony Degli Obizzi, the official financial planner of the Ricky. Text Ricky to 484-471-4873 for a consultation. Briggs Auction, the official auction of the Ricky, briggsauction.com. And Surfside, iced tea and vodka, the official canned cocktail of the Ricky. Ooh, Surfside, baby. You know, last week, here in the Northeast, maybe you're not here, but if you are here, you know what I'm saying. They threatened us with a couple of 70 and 80 degree days. And I started thinking about, I have a deck, started thinking about sitting on the deck after work, maybe watching the Phils or something, drinking a Surfside. It's going to be nice. Now it's 35 degrees today, but we're almost there, baby. We're almost there. You can drink Surfside when it's cold out as well. But man, when it's warm out, there's Phil's baseball on. It's nice. It's nice. What's also nice is every variation of Surfside, every single one only has 2 grams of sugar. Every single one only has 100 calories. They all taste great. None of them have any bubbles. Why would they? It's iced tea, it's lemonade, it's vodka. None of those things should ever have bubbles in it. You got to be 21 to drink it. You can get it wherever you get your canned cocktails. If you can't find it, go to drinksurfside.com. Also, drinksurfside.com. You can get their merch, which is also very, very cool as well. Without any further ado, Amos and the Chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who's going to get the Oscar for Sleepy Guy doing a Sixers podcast. That is Mike Levin. Yes, you're the only nominee.
That's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's awesome for me.
Yeah, congratulations. You want to give your speech now, or who do you want to thank?
No, I'm too sleepy for speech.
Too sleepy for speech, of course.
Yeah.
Well, so the man, talk about the Nets win. Talk about the first half was kind of fun. Everybody's dunking. Sixers are winning by almost 30. You know,
adding a couple lobs to my lob calculations.
Yeah,
if you didn't stay till the very end of last podcast,
I believe there were 3 in that game. I think we had 3 alley-oops, 3 successful alley-oops in the game.
The 27th leading alley-oop team in the NBA, pretty consistently for the last 5 years.
And the moment that I knew at some point this game was going to get shitty was when Edgecombe tried to dunk on somebody. He's had some good dunks this year. He has had a lot of near misses, a lot of near posters, and everybody on the bench is like laughing at him, and Maxie's giving the thumbs down, and I'm like, oh no, they're having too much fun. And lo and behold, just the worst second half of all time. The Nets take the lead in the 4th, and the Sixers eventually win it. I don't know what to. It felt like these games where like Grimes is the top scorer. They just feel like the second half of last year. That's essentially what these games feel like, and they win some of them, and some of them they don't. But yeah,
yes, correct.
Yeah.
They have barely escaped the Jazz, Grizzlies, and Nets.
Yes.
Since everything went awry.
Yeah.
They're tied with the Hawks for the 8th seed. Hawks have won 9 in a row, although they've only been playing terrible teams. I mean, right now it's Sixers Hornets in the 9-10. Who would pick the Sixers in that game?
Right. Now it is, if we're just being fair, when you look at the Sixers, they're available players right now. It doesn't seem like there's an enormous difference between them and the bad teams that they're playing. There's a difference. There's not an enormous difference. It doesn't seem like to me, but yeah. And and we could do the whole, if everybody's healthy dance, but like, I don't know. I don't even know how good that team is. So I wouldn't pick them against the Hornets because the Hornets have played all their guys several more times than the Sixers have. So it's clearly possible the Sixers could beat them. I don't think there's some juggernaut or anything, but it would be strange if you picked them, you'd simply just be picking with your heart. I don't know how you could go in with your head and say I've done all the research on this and I'm picking the Sixers on it.
No, I mean the Hornets have been one of the best offenses in the league in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
I think they would run it down the Sixers' throat. The Sixers would need to be fully healthy for me to feel anything at all about them. They shot 3 of 25 from 3.
That's not great.
And the 3 is concerning. So is the 25. The Nets shot 15 of 43. And it's the kinds of shots that the Sixers get for themselves and the kind of shots that the Sixers give up. And this is kind of the case no matter who's in the lineup. I mean, obviously some nights they shoot better, but they consistently get worse shots than their opponent. That's just straight up true. And they're losing the math battle, and also their defense isn't very good. They relinquish wide open threes all the time. Give up
even
41,
with the healthy players.
Even with the healthy players, obviously.
Yeah,
they give up 41 points to the Nets. It's not like Maxey is in charge of the defense.
Right.
41 points to the Nets? Something about that is... That's more than just Maxey's not there. Embiid in his current state, that's not the guy they miss right now, which is why they gave 41. Paul George, sure. Oubre, sure. You could use those guys for defense. And that's 100%. Not to say that Embiid and Maxey aren't helpful on the defensive end, but Embiid's not the guy he used to be, and Maxey still has, especially this year, has times when he's doing more harm than good on defense because of how much ball watching and risky doubling he's doing. So I don't know, man. I mean, I guess they're the same team that gave up 31 points in the first half to the Nets, and then they gave up 41 in the fourth quarter. But they just lose focus all the time. The bottom falls out. You should just never feel comfortable with them. I wish I wasn't watching the game live, and so I knew that they had won when I watched it late last night.
I was sure they were losing when they gave up the lead. Oh boy, did it feel like they were going to lose that game.
If the Sixers go up 20, 18, 25 against anyone, and you are in a place where you can bet a live line on the Sixers to not cover this game,
open the DraftKings app immediately.
Make that bet. You know better than that.
Yeah.
We were watching it.
Responsibly.
They're never going to hold on to a lead.
No.
They're just never going to hold on to the lead. They aren't going. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup. They are incapable of staying focused enough and consistent to hold on to that lead. It's nice to see Justin Edwards play like his high school self.
Yeah, I'm reminded when he gets run that I like him. That he's had such a weird season, especially after last year, in that they seem to have lost all faith in him. And I do think that when you hardly play, it's difficult to just jump in there and, be what everybody wants you to be. So he's played more recently, and I think that's probably helped him as well.
Yeah, he's such just a guy to me. He's ultimate just a guy. What's he? He's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter because he's willing to do it, but he's not a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Not that athletic, not that fast. Can do a little bit in the lane. That's his high school self, right? Can get a little contact and hit a mid range. But
explain to me how Dominic Barlow is more valuable than Justin Edwards on the court right now, because I don't know what.
I think Barlow's a better defender. I think he's longer. I think he's certainly capable of being a better rebounder, especially on the offensive end. There's certainly been a lot of frustration with Barlow not like single-handedly solving their rebounding issues, which at some point earlier in the season, it kind of looked like he was. Yeah, he's not as good of a shooter, obviously, but I think he plays within the flow of an offense more. I think he's more helpful.
You think Barlow does?
Glue guy. Yeah, I think he's more helpful as a glue guy. Okay. I mean, it's everything aside from the shot. Justin Edwards is a better shooter and more willing, consistent shooter. But I think Barlow's a better defender, and I think the length helps. He's playing. I mean, some of these games he's playing center, which is not great. But yeah, I certainly prefer the sort of the gluey stuff, hustle stuff, because he's just a more gifted athlete and mover than Edwards is.
Anything else from the game before? I
hate this is good for Edgecombe. This is good for Edgecombe.
You think it is?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not this season, but like he said, he had a quote afterwards where he's like, "This is the first time in my life I'm getting double teamed," and that's I can't imagine that that's true, but maybe it is. And I guess I don't know why he would lie about it, but it's surprising to hear.
Yeah,
but like watching him become a better ball handler over the course of the season. He's a really nice mid-range shooter. Would like to see him get fouled more. Like that's sort of that's the off-season project, I think. Because he's so in control of his body movements, and I would like him to control them to like initiate some contact and get fouled more rather than taking so many tough shots, which he is, and he can capable of making them. But it's sort of like this is exactly what you want to see from him as a rookie. And then this offseason, it's going to be like, okay, great. How can we get better? And I think this stretch of both like early season and then now stretch of, hey, you're kind of running the offense. You're kind of in charge of stuff. I think that will ultimately help him.
Yeah, I just want. I don't want to belabor this. Like, this is going to come out of my mouth, and I'm honestly like, who fucking cares?
Sure.
But I look at the starting lineup with him and Grimes, and I think to myself, maybe it'd be a little bit better if they had Payne in there. So like those two guys aren't the two primary guys. But the thing that you mentioning with Edgecombe, there is value in that. I guess when I'm watching it, I'm always, what's it called? I'm always reminded of what his, like when everybody's there, you're not often reminded of what his deficiencies are. Like, cause he plays within the flow of the game. He does what's asked of him. He'll hit a big shot here and there, but then games like this, I'm watching him. I'm like, oh, he can't really dribble yet. And he's like an okay passer. And but I guess it is good for him to experience this in the long game, for the long game.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it is nice to see Grimes like get a little hot and make plays and be like sort of the guy, like you said, like he was last year. So, I mean, it was good to have Bono available. Like it's been dark, dude.
Yeah,
it's been dark. I have once again liked the everything Trendon Watford gives us offensively, except for the very frustrating fact that he won't shoot. I don't know how you can be an NBA player in 2026 and not think you have to, or be hesitant.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't know. You got to be able to do that. You have to.
Well,
and so that's
he's not.
I know. I mean, he's over 2 last night.
He's
just not that good of a shooter. So I would, if he could shoot, he'd be a better paid NBA player.
Yes, yeah. Well,
I'm not like trying to undermine his project of making the league and staying consistent, but it's like I really like what he gives you physical off with the ball in his hands. I love the bumps. I love how he has great touch in the within 6 feet, and he can get there. It's just he also needs to be able to do a little bit of like pick and pop as the roll man or as the guy who pops. Or just like spreading the floor and being available to be a useful spacer, and he's just like not doing it, and it's
there's a reason that he is who he is. Yeah.
I just think I guess
we've been through this. People used to do it with Covington all the time. It's like, why can't he dribble and hit more shots? I'm like,
dribble's so much harder than shoot. Dribble's so much harder than shoot.
I guess, but everybody wants I think you touched on it. Everybody wants the players to be able to do the things that they can't do.
Well, Covington is the exact example for Watford. Like, just do some of that. Do a little bit of that. Just stand there, step into it, and like take $1 million. And I'm sure he's doing it, but it feels like he's not. It feels very much like he's not doing it enough.
The Rice to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Anthony Degli Obizzi, the official financial planner of the Ricky. Anthony, based out of Monastro Financial Group in Delco. If you want to set up let me give you his number. If you want to set up a conversation, consultation, doesn't cost you anything. Just text the word Ricky to 484-471-4873. That is 484-471-4873. Had my little quarterly catch up with Anthony on Friday morning while I was taking my walk, about a half an hour. That's what we do. So Anthony, I have handed over, this is the trust I have in the guy. I have handed over my future to this guy. And I said, this is the age I want to retire by. Make it happen. And that's what he does.
What'd you say?
What's that?
Can we get a number?
No.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if you'd give that to us.
Well, no. Well, let's put it this way. Every time I start off the conversation with, can I retire yet? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right, okay. Well, the answer is you could, but you probably have to live a little bit differently than you're used to. So, but that's what Anthony wants you to do. Like there's sort of like two levels to planning for your future. There's being able to want to spend money now so you can enjoy your life, right? You don't want to just enjoy your life when you're 68, 70 years old. You want to be able to enjoy it now. But you want to make sure when you get to that point, you're set. And Anthony has both of them set for me. Sometimes I'll ask him, hey, we want to do this project in the house. Do you think this is okay for us to do right now? And I'll look at what we have. He's like, yeah, I'd wait on that one. That's what Anthony's for. I waited until way too long to have somebody like this in my life because I was really just terrified of it because it's overwhelming. The idea of, what do I do with my 401k? What do I do with life insurance? What do I invest in? How much, blah, 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 blah. And it is really, really overwhelming. And that's why it's great to have not only a Ricky guy like Anthony, but a guy who actually knows what he's doing like Anthony. Definitely low stress kind of guy, easy kind of guy. However you want to do it, he'll do it. I said it's like quarterly, and then once a year I go in with my wife and we sit and we talk. But if you want to bother him every other day, I'm sure he'd be fine with that as well. Any sort of financial thing, as I mentioned, whether you switch jobs, you got to roll over 401k, whether you want to buy a house in a few years and you want to start planning for that, whether you have kids and you want to make sure they have enough money for college, all those things Anthony can help you with. Text the word Ricky to 484-471-4873. And that is Anthony Degli Obizzi, the official financial planner of the Ricky. Mike, you got a bar. There you go. All right. We auctioned it off. So
you got
it. So MOC wrote I just want to say this every once in a while, and I love all of our writers. Love the Statman, love AU. When I see MOC write an article, I would say 9 out of 10 articles, I say to myself, I can't believe this guy writes for us. I do truly believe he is one of the best of the best. And the fact that MOC writes for us, I think is amazing. He's been with us for like 5 years. So he wrote an article called, Have We Reached the Zugzwang? Now, if you've been with us for a long time, you know what that means. If you haven't, this is how he introed it here. Zugzwang is a German term describing a situation in chess which the player is forced to move, but every available move only weakens their position. It was referenced by Sam Hinkie in his farewell letter almost 10 years ago. This is from Hinkie. The NBA can be a league of desperation, those that are in it and those that can avoid it. So many find themselves caught in the Zugzwang, the point in the game where all possible moves make you worse off. Your positioning is now the opposite of that. MOC continues, well, Sam, it's 10 years later. Your friend Daryl is now running the team, and I fear we are now on the Zugzwang. It's a sentiment I've been feeling since the trade deadline, and I can't seem to shake it. I am more optimistic than most on this Sixers season. I would still bet on them making the playoffs, but with the season teetering on the brink, I've been wondering more and more about the long-term outlook. So he sort of like broke down. This is, I think, some of the despair feel, I think, sometimes when we talk about the team, because even in its best iteration, nobody really believes in them that much. And that it doesn't seem like there is some sort of change happening around the corner that will change that. And that ultimately we have been, as Amos so correctly said during the live pod, that it sort of seems like we we started all this to not become the Hawks, and we're talking about the Hawks of starting this, and that's exactly where we've ended up. So MOC lays out 3 sort of options after this year, and I want to go over them and sort of get your thought on the viability of them, and not only the viability from your perspective of like how much would you enjoy this, but the likelihood it happens.
Yeah.
So option 1, you keep Embiid, you keep PG, you keep Maxey, you re-sign Kelly Oubre and Grimes. The graph on this from Mike. If the plan is to keep the current roster mostly in place and try to make another playoff run with Maxey, George, and Embiid, I'd argue the best course of action would be to re-sign Oubre and Grimes, keep the draft pick, use the mid-level exception, and be ready to package some of those guys along with 1 or 2 first-round picks in a trade for a young starting caliber player. Let's call that player Santi Aldama. That would once again require paying the luxury tax. So, like, your opinion on this path and then the likelihood it's this path. What do you think?
I think this is probably the most likely path.
Okay.
And I think, not to get ahead of the ending, but like, I think this is probably the path I like agree with the most also. But it's also the one where it doesn't make you feel so bad like about how things have gone. This is the like just hold on and pray again path. And it feels like we've kind of been doing a version of that for the last many years.
It's sort of like the earmuffs path. It's like like all the bad things that we know are associated with this. You just make pretend they don't exist and cross your fingers again.
Well, famously, last trade deadline, Daryl loves giving just great quotes that are horrible for him at every trade deadline or time he has to talk publicly to a bunch of people. And that was the "if you squint" line.
Yeah. I just want to note he never does those things with us. He only does those things in press conferences. So if he was going to do one thing, I just want to throw that out there. He never ends up in those situations with us.
And our natural annoying state might make him look better by comparison.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So this is the "if you squint" path.
Yeah.
This is just this is the path of squinting, which is bad for your head, by the way. Like, you will get a headache if you squint for that long. Like, it's not good. Your eyes will get tired of squinting.
I gave myself headaches when I had the laser eye surgery when I was like 22. Mm-hmm. It is amazing. If you're a candidate for it, I'm not going to mention any specific place. It's wild to go to sleep one day and need glasses or contacts and wake up the next day and see perfect. However, the next day and for the next 2 weeks, I would give myself headaches staring at things far away, terrified that my good vision was going to go away. So I would try to read stuff far away and I would give myself headaches.
The Sixers' bleak future is brought to you by laser eye surgery. Get yours today.
Option 2, trade Paul George and capitalize Embiid. Let's call it that. Excuse me, I'm sorry. From MOC. It becomes only slightly more logical when you consider the alternatives. If the Sixers look to trade Paul George, it certainly wouldn't be impossible. They'll have 4 trade-eligible first-round picks this summer, including...
Possibly more than 4.
The Sixers are doing this, including that appetizing 2028 Clippers pick. They could try to flip PG and a pick or 2 for another beleaguered but better aging wing like Kawhi Leonard or Kevin Durant. They could also try to throw PG and all 4 of their tradable firsts to some team willing to offload useful young wings. New Orleans might be a good fit there. PG and all the picks and swaps for Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and Yves Missy would be nice. The roster suddenly makes a ton more sense. But are we really going to throw away most of our draft picks between now and 2032 in order to likely be a team that is still banking on Joel Embiid's health to be anything approaching contender status? This is, I think the reality is, you talked about what's most likely. The most likely path is the one we just mentioned, or this one. I do think this one's possible, even though I don't think it's likely. I think it's possible.
This is like the take your medicine path, and I don't agree with the way that MOC would go about it. like I'm not trading Paul George and picks to be just as old. I'm not trading it for Kawhi or Durant. That wouldn't be the guys that I'm pursuing. I would do something closer to the Pelicans path, and I don't think it would take. I mean, you may have to eat some bad. The fact that Paul George's contract is enormous and bad is the problem. If you took on another contract that was slightly less enormous and bad, then you can deal with it a little bit more. It's the fact that he is making, crazy max money and just not the guy that they wanted him to be. So this would be a take your medicine path where you're like, okay, we are losing some of those picks. That sucks. But you get off of the Paul George situation with only 2 years left. He is still a useful player and can be a useful player for people. He could be a useful player for us. The problem, the suspension on top of the just his lackadaisical by birth nature.
And hurt a lot. And
also hurt a lot and old.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not touching Kawhi or Durant. It just doesn't. I mean, Durant's obviously incredible and has been relatively durable, but I'm just not getting in that arena. I'm not losing picks to get older or stay old. I would love to get younger and to use this as all right, we are recentering our our core closer to around Maxey Edgecombe. And so if you get somebody that's 25, 27, 29, something like that, then you can go, okay, we're getting younger, we're getting more we're athletic, we're getting more quick twitch because we've talked about Paul, but how he's still a great defender and still very helpful defensively, and the team has fallen off defensively without him. But when they're at their best, his lack of dog, boat, anything, does hold them back, and he will fail to come up with those balls more often than not. And so I would love to get younger and hungrier if we're moving picks in that trade, and then you can have Joel as, all right, if he's healthy, then let's fucking go. He's still one of the best 25 players in the league, blah, blah, blah. But you don't have to say that about two guys that are similarly old, cursed, injury plagued, etc.
Well, I think that the difference is if you want Trey Murphy, you're that sort of trade is basically emptying the coffers of picks. Whereas you would guess and I think MOC would just assume this, that something like the Durant trade it's not going to cost the same thing. It's going to cost much less. It will make you better, and he'll be gone sooner. I think KD just has one more year on his deal. So you're also gaining freedom from the contract much sooner than you are from Paul George.
Maybe. I don't know that it would that it would cost everything for Trey Murphy.
Oh, I don't think it would cost for 1 year of Kevin Durant.
Sorry, I'm talking about Trey Murphy for.
Well, Trey Murphy is certainly costing at least 3 firsts.
Maybe, I'm not
they're
saying
taking Paul George too.
For sure, Paul George has 2 years left after this year, so that's not killing you. That aligns Paul with Zion, and when his contract expires, they want to be good. Paul is in a better defender than Murphy at this point. Maybe it won't be in a year or two.
You're not talking to the New Orleans. You're not talking to fucking. Not Joe
New Orleans
Dumars.
does dumb shit, So you have to factor that in. And if they could say, "Hey, we get Paul George, and he's in New Orleans," and it's that's a little more professionalism. I don't know if they want to get off of the DeJounte thing. He's back and playing a little bit better. We may have to eat Jordan Poole, which would be a year, whatever. Trey Murphy and Jordan Poole for Paul George, and 2 first-round picks, one of which is the Clippers pick. The Clippers pick.
No chance. Of my opinion.
And a couple seconds. How about those seconds? I could see New Orleans doing that and feeling good about themselves.
Okay, I could, but we'll see. Option 3 is trade Embiid. MOC says, if standing pat does nothing and trading PG involves a huge present and future risk, what about trading Embiid? There will almost certainly be options. Embiid has undeniably played his way into having some level of appeal, if not positive value, to teams around the league. But any trade involving Embiid would likely mean giving up picks to bring back a player with less talent than Joel, perhaps Sabonis, as mentioned earlier. Well, I mean... let's put it this way.
Decade long pause.
Yeah. The biggest question here is what it costs. I think that is, I sort of disagree. I agree with MOC that Embiid certainly has more value than he had a year ago, right? Yeah. What that value is, it's certainly, I don't believe, positive value. It's certainly negative value. So it certainly costs a pick or something to get off. To me, it is, I know we're not supposed to say this and people get upset when we talk about it. To me, it's just about the cost. I think they need to be, if they're given the opportunity, out of the Embiid game from a team building perspective. If this team's future is not, they're not winning a championship with him. They're not. It's not happening. So now, you once again get to this circular question that I have presented people with when they wanted to get rid of Embiid and I didn't, is, well, where do you get a player that good? And I understand. But this season has mostly been the best case scenario for Embiid, and it's been torture. And it's been torture. And here we are. We've had games missed with the left knee. We had games missed with the right knee. We had games missed with the oblique. We had something about his shin making his whole body hurt or something. Yeah. So but if it costs you too much to get off of it, then you're just cutting off your nose to spite your face, and you're and this is why he wrote the whole thing, is none of these options seem particularly great to me. I don't know. I think if they were given an opportunity for neutral or slightly negative value, I think they should take it. I don't know what the next step is after that, but I just don't see a future with him taking up not just the financial space. That's one thing. You could deal with that. But when he plays, he's the center of everything. And he's never existed in a world where he isn't that. And it doesn't seem tenable to me to have 40 games a year where one person is the center of everything, and then 40 games a year is you have to figure something else out. So
I will give my long circular rebuttal after we talk about Briggs. Wow. I don't want to I could feel you needing to go to it, and I didn't want to start. No, I'll never stop. I'll never stop ever.
Look at this. We're come on. Look at how long we've been together.
CJ, you better be smiling right now.
Briggs Auction. Love Briggs Auction. BriggsAuction.com. The App Store or Google Play. Download the Briggs Auction app. Briggs Auction has been cooking since the new year. Every single week, new Briggs Auction sales. And some weeks, there are two of them. There's a discovery auction going on right now through Friday. CJ, I know you have something good in it. CJ, I kind of see what it is. I'm not surprised you picked this. CJ's Briggs Auction item of the week.
Yeah, so I'm not a collector by any means of all the various things that people are collecting these days, but I did receive a text message Friday afternoon. Crazy Pokemon selection in the new Briggs Auction, followed up by all caps, do not mention on the Ricky.
Whoa.
Fortunately.
Oh, you're doing it.
Fortunately, since that time, this friend who has texted me is priced out of this auction specifically, so I'm more than free to talk about it. We have a few lots of various Pokemon cards. I don't know what any of them mean, but apparently they're worth a good amount. This one's going for $170 right now. It's 6 cards. Do you fellas know anything about this?
Well, no. I know the two down there. I see Dark Charizard.
Oh, wow.
But do you see this card and you're like, ooh, yeah, that's worth $200.
I think somewhere in the recesses of my mind, 25 years ago, Dark Charizard is meaning something, but I can't remember what it
Well, isn't the real question with these, and this is with sports cards as well, is you get the card, but then you go and get it professionally graded. And if the grade is a certain level, then oh my God, you're cooking. And if the grade isn't that, and you can't really see that from this, but it seems like a lot of these, I've thought this with the baseball card ones, is like risk worth taking, right?
Yeah. If it was a card that was worth so much, it's wild to me that they're not like already heavily protected in like sleeves and like a binder or something, which makes me feel like, is this a diamond in the rough? Like, is someone finding one of these cards and they're worth a lot more than what the current bid is right now?
That's what Briggs Auction's all about.
Yeah, and CJ's ruining it for the current bidder, obviously.
There's more cards available, and I'm sure it's an open marketplace. I'm sure they can figure it out if they really want to. But we got Pokemon cards.
We got Pokemon. And in every one of these auctions, well, in every one, they don't hit every category, but this would be in the collectible section. And there's art. I love the art selection. I love the jewelry one because even though I'm not a watch guy yet, I want to be a watch guy, and I look for watches and jewelry one. What else? There's the electronic section. There's the furniture one. Look, it's full of shit. I didn't know I needed Pokemon cards. Now I'm thinking about doing it. I have no... The Briggs Auction is full of shit you didn't know you needed until you saw it in Briggs Auction. Again, App Store, Google Play, BriggsAuction.com. You win a lot. You pick it up, pick up on Saturdays, by appointment during the week, work with you on a shipper. If you have a whole closet full of Pokemon cards and you want to get rid of them or any other stuff, info@briggsauction.com. Send them an email. Briggs Auction, the official auction of the rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. All right. Your long winding rebuttal.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing, to finish out the Paul George, like the thing about the Paul situation is that it would be really helpful to break up that contract into multiple smaller contracts.
Yes.
Regardless of really what it is. I think Trey Murphy would be super helpful to this team. I think it'd be helpful for, there's other kinds of deals that you could do a Paul George plus 2 picks for these kinds of players, and I think that would be good. I think they could do it. I think it'd be frustrating. It's a little similar to the Al Horford, Danny Green trade that Daryl made the first moment he got here, of just like, hey, let's just get off of this.
Yes.
And Horford has come back to bite him, and trading that pick, we almost didn't get VJ Edgecombe, and maybe we're tanking for that one now. To again hold on to that pick. The other thing Sixers Adam pointed out is if we land in the lottery this year, we don't have to trade our 2028 from the
first
Nets.
round pick to the Nets.
So it's essentially stealing two picks back if you land in the top 4, which is pretty massive.
Take that, AU.
And so in the being in the 9-10, the benefit of being in the 9-10 is if you are healthy, you'll probably come out of the play-in but if you're not, then you really do give yourself a decent chance at doing a Mavericks style jump, and we will have a lottery party, and that would be insane.
Yes.
Okay. Back to Joel. The thing with Joel is that when he is playing, he is still great. He has been great this year. Outside of those first after he went 4 of 21 from the field against the Celtics, like, he's been excellent. He's still an excellent player. His usage rate has gone down a little. I would like to see it go down more. I would like to see him, like, as he ages, to transition into more of like a lot of his offense is pick and pop stuff, but he has moved well. He has looked good. His shooting percentages are pretty good. His jump shot has steadily increased after some bad months there. He still gets to the line like crazy. He's still really good. Passer, setting up his teammates.
His usage rate in December, January, and February was over 34%. I mean,
yeah, but that's still lower than 35, 37, 37, 39, almost 40.
Okay, sure.
So like, I would like to see that close to, like, right now for the year it's 33.8. I would like to see it closer to 30 or whatever.
Okay.
As he ages, but I think the other thing is, like, you watch this team play. And this, I'm going all over the place, just so you know. So it's going to be popping back and forth. There's not going to be consistency, but hopefully the Joel-centric thing that I'm talking about is all hitting all corners. The offense looks so much better when he's there because they double him. They double him and he passes out of it. When they double Maxey, they're not getting as much good offense out of it. When they double Joel, they get a ton of good offense out of it. And so he is still capable of being, even if he's less mobile, less fluid, all the stuff, he's just still capable of being like the like heliocentric engine of a really good offense in a way that nobody else has shown that they're capable of. And that's the thing with Paul, is that Paul is like a 3-and-D guy now. And so get him out of here. And let's take Paul's not lifting you to like a top 10 offense ever. And Joel can. Even if Joel plays 45 whatever games. The injury thing with Joel, it's hard to say this because we haven't gotten to the playoffs yet, so I don't know. But like for years, we have been telling them, don't value the regular season. Let him be healthy for the playoffs. And Joel listened like too much last year, and he looked like a shell of himself, and he wasn't healthy, and his knee wasn't right, blah, blah, blah. And there's been like some random injuries this one, the oblique, whatever, and maybe that's just like, that's par for the course, the way he plays. It's just going to keep happening. But if Joel has gone through this season, he's played 33 games right now. Let's say he plays 7 more in the last whatever. Let's say he plays 40 or something. And he goes into the playoffs healthy. If he's actually like healthy enough, maybe he'd be playing if this was the playoffs. Like the thing that we're asking him to do is be healthy for the playoffs. And I would like to, because he's improved back to like closer to the vintage version of himself that we hoped for, I would like to wait for the playoffs to see, well, hey, maybe this is exactly what we have been asking him for many years. So that's one part of it. And if you move Paul and recenter it around Maxey Edgecombe, let's say it's Trey Murphy, just for the argument, then you can build a team around that, and that team should and in fact must be better in the games that Joel's not playing. And that is not on Joel. You've said, when Daryl signed Joel to this contract, you have made your bed in, we know he's going to miss dozens of games at least. We know we need to survive in those games without him. And that is on Daryl to assemble a roster that is capable of going like 500 in the games without Joel. And it's on Nick Nurse and Maxey, and eventually Edgecombe, as the responsibility falls more on his shoulders, to like deliver that. And they haven't, they did earlier in the season, and they don't anymore. And part of that is missing PG as well. But I don't think it is so unrealistic to say, hey, if Joel's healthy, we're really, really good. Let's be fine in the games without him. Let's arrange offense in a way that we can play both ways. Like we should.
But what team in NBA history has had their best player play 40 games a year by design and go anywhere in the playoffs?
I'm hoping that he's not your best player anymore. I'm hoping that he's occasionally
Who's their best player then?
Maxey. I mean, I think it'd be Maxey and Edgecombe as he keeps getting better. And if Edgecombe is all-star level player, then like Maxey, Edgecombe plus whoever you get for Paul George plus picks should be enough. Look, there's no NBA comparison for this or much.
Sure.
But the alternative is also like what you've been saying is, well, then where do you get a player that's capable of being that? Joel is capable of being a top 25 player and the son of an offense. And at least one good part of a playing drop in defense to protect the rim a little bit, even if he's not nearly the rim protector he used to be. And they just have to fucking figure it out. Like this is the cards that they've been dealt. You know what I mean? And so Daryl thought figuring that out meant let's get another max player in here in Paul George to lighten the load on Joel. That was the wrong direction because of who Paul George is constitutionally, and also injury plus now suspension risk. If you just go, they lucked into Edgecombe, he fell into their laps, and you go, okay, this is the era. We are in this era. It is the Maxey Edgecombe and whatever you get for Paul George era. That's our main guy. And when we have Joel, it should be treated as, oh shit, like now the counselor can play with us, and the counselor is dominating these kids. If we're talking about like, I don't know why I shifted to a camp basketball game metaphor.
Yeah, it's weird, but whatever.
But I just think it should be possible. And I'm not saying like it's ideal. No one's saying that's how you build a basketball team. You want to get guys that are playing all the time, and then one sort of enigmatic, ethereal curse
concept
figure that comes in occasionally, and then he takes over. No one wants that. Nobody wants that. But like, as far as what, with the cards that they've been dealt, what is their best chance at making an actual run is being 500 plus in the games that Joel's not there and going, okay, let's be completely cohesive and together and well coached in the games that he is there to hit some ceiling. And then when the playoffs come, there's no back-to-backs. Hope he's healthy. Like, I still think that's the best case scenario for a deep playoff run in this team. And part of that is me squinting. Part of that is me putting earmuffs over my ears and eyes and mouth. It's a very interesting pair of earmuffs. Keeps you very warm. But in this, when you have Joel that is still capable of playing to the level that he has shown he is capable of this season, and I'm waiting to see what the playoffs look like if they play more than one game, and hopefully he's around for that. I still think that's worth it. I don't think it's worth it for Paul George because he doesn't have that ceiling, and I would trade picks to get off of it, to get younger, to recontextualize the emotional, physical core of the team closer to Maxi Edgecombe. But I do think it's still worth, riding the ride with Joel for the next 2 years.
That was a fair defense. It ain't gonna work, but nothing's gonna work. So at least the ain't gonna work with a hope that maybe it might work. I don't know. I didn't think it was bad. I thought that was a fair defense of it.
Thank you. I went all over the place. And Dow's just not going to trade picks to get a worse player for Joel. He's not going to. And I don't think he should. I don't really think he should. I think he's always going to go ceiling.
Yeah. Well, working out great. The Right Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook is the number one sportsbook for live betting. Look, Mike mentioned earlier that if you're watching the Sixers and they have a big lead and you listen to this podcast, that is a live betting. That is a live betting opportunity. And live betting in March during the tournament. Come on, man.
Oh my God.
Come on, Mike. You got to get into a state where you can sit with your DraftKings app.
Oh my God.
You excited? The selection show is tonight.
I couldn't be more excited, and it is saving me from fully feeling any feelings about the Sixers.
There you go.
We are in March.
There you go. Well, it is, as I mentioned, the number one sportsbook for live betting. So the first couple of days, it's all day long. You sit there with the app. What you can safely afford to lose, because look, betting is difficult. If you're new to DraftKings, you bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly right before the tournament. There you go. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code RTRS. That is code RTRS to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. The only betting I do is live betting of Sixers, and I love futures bets. As it turns out, I'm not that good at them. I just kind of like checking on them all year. Yeah.
It's like having little pets.
Yes.
That you don't have to take care of, that you can just visit.
One that I had that was a real conflict. Like, look, I'm glad the Eagles won, but the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I had a big future on the Rams winning, going to the Super Bowl. And I think that the Eagles beating the Rams in that game cost me $4,000 or something like that on some $100 bet, Wow. So, but it was fun. It was a fun ride. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Got to be 21. See show notes for details. We got a lot of, we're not going to be able to get to all of we got a lot of mailbag questions in the email, on Substack, on the website, on Reddit, and calls. We'll get through some of them now, but then we'll hold them because the truth is, this is going to be a long off season, and we don't know when Embiid's coming back. It should be noted that somebody should produce a video, a best of Nick Nurse answering questions about Joel Embiid's health. Where this one, I don't know if you saw, Embiid was supposed to be reevaluated at the end of the week. They asked, maybe it was Sixers Adam, asked Nick Nurse yesterday, was he? And Nick Nurse goes, well, I guess he must have been, right? That's not an answer. He said he did individual work. He's out against the Blazers tonight. Yeah. And then he asked, Sixers Adam asked,
Blazers game is sneaky big. If you're listening to this after the Blazers game and they won this game, then things take a different tenor than if they lost it. We're sort of operating as if they're going to lose it.
Yes, you mean from a tanking perspective or whatever? From a draft pick perspective, or
I understand you want to go to Mailbag and you ask for him and stuff, but like I might want to do 6 straight hours on AU's article. Like I might just
can we do it with AU? Why don't we do it with AU one
Sure.
day?
It might need to be, you might need to turn your mic off so I can just scream at him.
That's fine. That's fine. I would rather do it with AU. So AU, as usual, completely missing the point.
Yes.
With his article. It is.
I love him. I think he's a fantastic writer, and I do think this is some of his worst work. I think it's infuriating piece.
Well, his stubbornness to just not listen, and not get the point of it is absolutely, like, I saw the article and I hate read it. I hate read the article.
Yeah.
I hate read the article, the anti-tank article. I was just like, you edited what I wrote, AU. You sat on the podcast as we talked about it, and yet you still fucking missed the point. Maybe we'll invite him on this week because we're going to have to reschedule something this week.
Yeah, so. I won't be on the episode midweek because I'm shooting my episode.
Oh, that's this week.
The Paper season 2, yes.
Well, what if we have him on next weekend and we can yell at him?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? Okay.
Yeah, we can try that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. So we'll go to the listener questions and we'll yell at AU next week. And if you want to read AU's article, it's on the front page of the website right now.
It's ghoulish.
Oh, well, a fucking Saturday at 5:00. Somebody
he waited until the Nets game ended to post that. That is such coward behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Despicable.
Of course.
Despicable stuff.
And somebody teach him about when people read emails. It's not fucking 5:08 on Saturday, big boy.
I did.
Okay. Well, I read it too. Yeah. Okay. We got this voicemail to 833 Lickface.
Hi, Spike and Mike. Andrew from North Carolina. Typically more of a Mike guy, and thus I'm trying to understand the disconnect between the season that Mike seems to think Quentin Grimes is having and the rest of us in the world seem to think Quentin Grimes is having. He's now shooting 33% from 3. The biggest issue is I think that Danny really should be renamed the Grimey for the bonehead play of the game that Quentin Grimes makes without fail every game, dribbling off his foot, a horrible pass. Every time he closes out on a 3-point shooter, I think he's going to foul him. And I think that the best decision this front office has made in the last year is that we didn't give this guy $30 million, $25 million, $20 million, or $15 million. Like, I think he's going to get barely anything in free agency. As a Mike guy, I'm going to need a little bit more than he plays really hard on defense because he's been bad. Grimy. Call it the Grimy. Thanks.
Mike, your comment?
Yeah, man, I just disagree. Like, obviously, I would love if he wasn't shooting 33% from 3. That I was very much expecting a better number there, especially playing off of Joel. And obviously, he hasn't had Joel a ton, but he should have more open threes and he should be making them. So he had a few cold months there, and that's, I'm not going to make excuses for that. He is taking the good kinds of threes. I want him shooting those threes, just like Campaign when he was kind of getting booed when he got there. And he was missing those threes. I'm like, he has to keep taking them. That is what he's there to do. So that I hope he shoots better and those numbers go up. And I expect that they will because I do think the shot looks good and he is a good shooter. The defense is what it is. I think he's a really strong defender. I think he's fast and plays hard and physical, and that matters. I love that he gets out in transition. He is shooting 58.5% on 2s. That's really, really good. That's like the highest mark of anyone close to like someone who shoots the shots he shoots. Like Barlow is at 61%. Bone is at 60%. Grimes is 58.5. Watford is at 57.8. You go down to Oubre at 54. Maxey at 52.
Okay.
Edgecombe 48. Paul George 46. Jared McCain has a 6 or 39. Like Grimes is I understand that some of the you said it in I think the dumbest smart way, which is Grimes plays are either really good or really bad. And I think that that's right. Like the bad plays stand out because he tries to go behind his back too much, and in a way that I'm like, why you don't need to do that? No thanks. And he plays fast so that he is at risk of dribbling the ball off his foot or doing something stupid there. I'm not saying he's the engine of an offense, but I think he's a really, really helpful role player. He's playing like sixth man role, some starting stuff. I think he's a fine passer. He's made strides there. He goes and gets 50-50 balls. Like, I think this is exactly what, aside from the shooting numbers being lower than you'd like from outside, this is exactly what you'd want from like a rotation two-way two guard. Like, this is exactly it. He's going to make some bad plays sometimes, but I think like that's because he's trying to do things rather than sitting on the ball and waiting and like letting the clock run down. Like, he's playing fast and with a ferocity, and I think you need that. And a lot of stuff looks good to me.
I think there actually is a parallel with Danny Green there, because I would constantly defend Danny Green, even though he did things that made us crazy, because he was a net positive on the court, because he did things that nobody else would do. He was a willing shooter, which Grimes is. He was a good defender, which Grimes is. I think a lot of Grimes' issues are Nick Nurse related. I think Nick Nurse, for some reason, thinks Quentin Grimes is a primary ball handler. He is not. I think if Quentin Grimes is put in different positions, I think he'll be better. Though I do agree with the caller that I think not giving him a big contract that was floated out there was a good move, because I don't think he was worth anything near that.
Yeah, so, I've already pretty admitted the L on that, I think.
Yeah. This is from Wendy. Now, Mike, you might.
I think Danny Green is probably when we had him, he was pretty late in his career, but I still think he was probably a better defender just because of like in intelligence. Grimes is a different kind of defender. And I wish the team played more like the way that Orlando plays defense, the way that Jalen Suggs plays defense. Like, that's the kind of defense I would love to have. The way that the Houston Cougars play defense, like in your face, physical, like using their bodies to prevent you from getting shots. All of a sudden there's 6 seconds left on the shot clock all the time. I want to play that kind of defense. I would love for the Sixers to play that kind of defense. They don't have enough guys that do that. But I also am admitting that like the way that Danny Green plays defense, which is not that, which is more just with his hands. Danny had just had really good hands and kind of knew where to be. Grimes offensively can do way more than Danny could at that point in his career. But the like rigorous consistency that Danny had of I shoot this shot and I stand here, or I like do a little like back cut, the Danny Green cut from one baseline to the other, or faking that. I think that he simplified it. I don't think that Nick thinks that Grimes is a primary ball handler. He certainly gives him more of a role there, and his decision to not play Jared McCain and ultimately leading to McCain's trade indicates that he thinks Grimes can do more of it, but I don't think he thinks that Grimes should be like the number one ball handler somewhere.
Yeah, I know, but like when you watch the minutes that Grimes played with McCain, it was insane how much it was Grimes on the ball instead of McCain. It was crazy. I think
it is, and Grimes does turn the ball over too much for like what his role should be. Then that's part of the like gambling stuff on offense that he should tighten up. I think that's more of a Nick Nurse didn't know how to use Jared McCain and was making the wrong decision there that I resent him for. I'm not going to blame Grimes for that. Maybe the caller does, but that to me is a Nick Nurse problem. And a Jared McCain started this year very bad and was working his way back from injury problem.
This is from Wendy. You might remember Wendy. Wendy is an older lady who loves the podcast. She doesn't write in that often, but she wrote in twice about this. So I think it's important we get to it. To write to RickySanchez@gmail.com. Dear Spike and Mike, it's been a while since I wrote. I was waiting for a really compelling question. Here it goes. 5 of us, my godchild, my nephew-in-law, my son, and his aunt/godchild's mother are all going to an upcoming Sixers game. We will be sitting in the 100 section, not the cheaper seats, which is where the other family members would normally sit. As I am afraid of heights, they want me to go with them. They have to buy the more expensive tickets, which they refer to as the, quote, Wendy seats.
That's nice.
Yes. Anyway, I'm digressing here. Last time I went, there was a group of people near me that 4 or 5 times kept appearing on the Jumbotron. Whatever they were doing must have caught the fancy of the camera person. So I'm putting together an engaging, quote, dance routine that might lead to multiple views on the Jumbotron. I thought about us all wearing duck hats with T-shirts with a thumbs down with a $sign and a thumbs up Jared, and underneath that, a line of tears. Now, possibly 3 problems with this. First, too subtle for anyone to understand it, or not subtle, but perceived as unbecoming of a family-friendly Jumbotron.
Convoluted T-shirt messages.
Yes.
Fun genre.
Finally, everyone would be jumping around, flapping their arms like a duck, so that might look stupid. Do you have any better ideas? Thanks, your friend Wendy. So I think ripping the team for not spending money on the tax and then crying because you're missing the player that isn't there anymore isn't a great way to get on the Jumbotron. I think that's actually a horrible way to get on the Jumbotron.
You could just wear duck shirts and flap around, and then the Jumbotron person will just be like, "That's confusing. Something going on over there."
Yes,
I think that would do it, and then people that know might know. But I think all the messages is very funny. It is very, very. Wendy, I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much. I feel like she's a boomer, and I'm glad for her.
Yes, I'm glad for you as well. We'll do 2 more questions, and then we have. Do you want to say what's coming up with the conversation you had before we do the question?
Friend of mine, Bo Belanger, is co-created and produced a podcast on Connie Hawkins, legendary former NBA player who was blackballed by the league because of a point shaving scandal that he seemingly was not a part of, or at least not responsible for. And it's about a guy with Connie and Jack Molinas who sort of organized it. And so there's 3 episodes out right now. Bo Belanger, a friend of mine, I did play rec league basketball with him. He was, if you remember, I say this in our interview, but do you remember Maryland?
I play like this. I don't play like that.
Sorry.
I'm pretty intense.
Mike playing basketball.
I'm in my prime. Honestly,
sign me.
Do you remember Maryland wing Nick Kaner Medley from
No,
the early 2000s?
I do not.
I guess not early 2000s. Nick Kaner Medley. When did he play? He was my friend Bo was his high school point guard. Yeah, early mid 2000s. Nick Kaner Medley played at Maryland 4 years. Wing player. So and so it's an interesting conversation. It's an interesting podcast. The podcast is called Connie and Jack. And it's really good.
So we'll do 1 question from the Substack, 1 question from Reddit, and then we'll get to that. This is from James. Basketball question. Do you think Daryl is insecure about the McCain trade given Sam Presti was the counterpart? His hubris about their modeling was wild given who was on the other side of the trade, let alone stating it publicly. And non-basketball, if you had to consume crap artistic content from Basketball Executive for a week, Clockwork Orange style, would you listen to Presti's crap jazz rap album, or would you watch Daryl's crap musical? I think Daryl was probably slightly more defensive about the trade than he would have been given it was Presti on the other side. I think that is a fair thing, given how puffed up he got in that press conference about it. I think part of it might have been that it was Presti on the other side. And I would much rather watch Daryl's crap musical than listen to Presti's crap jazz album. Your thoughts?
I think Daryl has a very high opinion of himself, as I would say most presidents of basketball operations do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think he probably, this is me completely psychoanalyzing him, but he probably used to be the star and someone that people thought was very smart. He took Harden from Presti and made a revolutionized basketball because of it, and never won a championship, and then left for the Sixers, and has been, partially because of his own doing, partially because he has been poisoned with the Sixers drink. Largely disappointing, if Daryl I don't think has done exactly what he's hoped to do, while the Thunder are, a year or 2 into a dynastic run. So I think it used to be one way, now it's the other way. I don't think he was self-conscious about that when he made the trade.
No, I don't think
he's
so
not
either.
scared of dealing with Presti.
No,
I think he thinks he's better than Presti. And so I think Daryl feels very strongly, I believe, that he won that trade. even as Jared McCain helps the best team in basketball continue to win.
And then what would you rather do? Listen to Presti's crap jazz album or watch Daryl's crap musical?
I mean, the album, I think I can do other stuff during. I think the musical might be
fair point.
Might be a tough use of my time.
That's a fair point.
Sorry to Daryl.
And then on Reddit from BSizzle13, I think this is an interesting question. I also didn't know that Sam Brown transferred. This is not, it's only sort of related. Why do you think Brett Brown hasn't come up as a head coach option anywhere since leaving? Personal choice, or is his rep tainted from the process era? I think it's a good question. I didn't know Sam Brown had transferred to Davidson. I think he transferred to Davidson. I didn't know that. So
yeah, they just lost to St. Joe's in the A10 tourney. A10 championship final going on tonight. Or in a couple hours, VCU Dayton. Very excited. A little bid stealing if Dayton wins. I think it is partly because of the tainted reputation. I honestly think so. I think Brett was seen more as like a caretaker type guardian than he was a coach.
He did do a good job,
and I do think he did a great job of caretaker guardianship. And I think he probably did a better job as a coach than people give him credit for.
Yes.
And maybe he doesn't want to be a head coach. Maybe it seems like a really hard life. And having less responsibility seems occasionally good. Some prefer it. But
he's not with the Spurs anymore. So I don't know what he's doing. So I didn't know he wasn't with the Spurs this year, but he is not. No. So yeah. So I understood
moving into retirement, or at least being around his family more, getting to go see his son play ball more. I don't know.
Yeah. Being a human. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Being. So before we do the schedule song, we did get a schedule song call. So I wanted to play this into the schedule talk.
Hey guys, Nick from Ambler here. Just want to give some love to the schedule song. I love it. At first, I was slightly lukewarm on it, but over time, it's just, I crave it. I need it. Last pod, you guys threatened schedule talk, and then you went away from it, and I felt rabid. I wanted the schedule song. I need it. It's really good.
Amazing.
So, Blazers tonight, then at the Nuggets, then at the Kings, then at the Jazz is the road trip until they're home again against the Thunder.
And that would, if you can survive these bad games, like the Blazers are the 10 seed in the West, but they're not a great team. That could be a winnable game. Obviously, Sixers incredibly shorthanded still. They're going to get blown out by the Nuggets. They might lose by 50. But Kings and Jazz, if you win those games, I thought they were going to lose to the Nets. So you beat the Nets barely.
Yep.
If you can win 3 of 4, then that I don't think they're going to. Yeah. But that would be real beyond surviving. Reinforcements would come probably in some form at that point, because OKC.
Well, we don't know anything about Embiid. We don't know anything about Embiid's return, and Maxey is not until March 31st. So,
but OKC is the last game you have without Paul George,
right?
And presumably Oubre and his elbow will be back at some point around then also. So, like, if you can win these easier games with the skeleton crew that they have, then that's surviving. That would be surviving.
Yeah,
I would commend them for that.
I do
think they're going to lose today, and then probably at least one of Kings or Jazz. So if you go 1-3 in that game, then that's against these teams, and that's rough.
That's bad. Yeah, and you're right. In this stretch, it really is the Blazers game. Is a bit of a swing game here, because if they can win that, it gives them the ability to either lose to the Jazz or the Kings and still split it. So obviously they'll get thumped by the Nuggets, assuming that Embiid doesn't play. So
and the thing with AU's article, and we'll talk to him about it, is like he's talking to the team and also the fans at the same time. Yes. And it's like, those are different things.
Yes. The team's not going to tank. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
for sure.
Not, yeah.
They're not, no one's saying that
we just have to browbeat him, because browbeating him.
I think we should just beat him.
Yeah.
I think he has to be beaten. We meet up at a playground.
And we just beat the shit out of him?
We just beat the shit out of him. It's enough. A man I love.
Yeah.
A man I love and adore.
Yes.
And think is a great writer. I'm going to beat his ass.
Yeah. Just so he doesn't write anything like that again.
For this.
So make him better.
He won't lose. He won't even admit like how wrong he was last year.
No.
We have VJ Edgecombe. It's insane. He was saying that in like January. Insane. I hate him. I love him.
Okay. Your conversation with Bo Belanger is coming up next.
All right. Special little treat here. Bo Belanger, my former teammate on a few rec league basketball teams. And what would you say, producer of this podcast, Connie and Jack?
You're being kind. I think I was your backup on those teams. Yeah. Producer, creator, writer. Did the whole shebang on this. Yeah.
All right. So Connie and Jack, a rigged game about Connie Hawkins and Jack Molinas. What brought you to this story?
Yeah, so Mike, you'll appreciate this. It started, I was helping some guys develop a TV show about the ABA, and I was doing a ton of research for them. Read, as Sixers podcast, I got to drop. I read Dr. J's autobiography, which was fantastic, and a bunch of other books. One of the books was Foul, this book that's now out of print. It's a book about Connie Hawkins. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Fantastic book. It's out of print, and it sort of book stayed with me. Project didn't get sold. So I was just like, the story stayed with me. So I reached out. I was just trying to figure out the rights, and found out that the author had passed away. The daughter held the rights, and she wouldn't give them up to anybody. Like A-list talent was coming from Hollywood. It's a great story. And for whatever reason, she wouldn't give up the rights. And so I reached out. I was trying to get in touch with Connie's family, and reached out on Instagram, found his grandson. And that was really the game-changing conversation. This guy, Sean Hawkins, who reads his grandfather's quotes in the project.
Wow.
Yeah. And I talked to Sean, and Sean was just super frustrated because that book was such a definitive account of Connie's life, and everyone run into that brick wall of they couldn't get the rights, so they couldn't tell the story. And so then I just sort of went down this rabbit hole of trying to source the story out sort of around the book. I still use the book. It's a great story. So I was like newspaper articles, this is like a year and a half of just like deep in the archive. This is like COVID time, so I had plenty of time. And so it was sort of it was sort of the story being so good, and then talking to Connie's grandson, and just sort of hearing his frustration of like, it not being out there. So
what if you could, Connie Hawkins for me is a guy that I've heard about growing up, my dad or other older guys that you hear be like, oh, Connie Hawkins. Like that's the sort of, if you saw him, you would know type of guy. So what about Connie Hawkins as a player would you want people to know about?
Well, he's a couple of things. I mean, he's sort of it's a great what if career, because his prime is really robbed because he's blackballed. He's really, the way I understand it from all the research, is he's sort of the connection between Elgin and Dr. J, as far as the guys who could really play in the air, that creativity, that athleticism. And then obviously that gets handed to Michael and the rest. But he's sort of a forgotten link in that story. So he was just an incredibly creative player. I think it's interesting. I think his history remembers him wrong to a certain extent. He gets into the NBA finally. Some spoilers here, but and he sort of ironically he held the bitterness at bay all these years. He couldn't get in the league. And the quotes you read about him, just a fantastic leader, teammate, passer, just everything you'd want in a teammate, Mike. And then he gets into the NBA. He's not the player he once was. All that bitterness that he had sort of kept at bay crept back in. So history remembers him by these NBA years when he probably wasn't the best teammate. He had a little bit more bitterness. Him and Colangelo famously sort of got into it on the Suns when Colangelo was coaching them.
We're not. So, this is not a pro Colangelo podcast, so that will
good. We can bash on that.
Yes.
That'll play. So I don't know. I think it's really unfortunate because I think that Connie, the player that Connie was, when he finally got the stage on the NBA, he wasn't that guy anymore. And I think, like I said, I think history sort of remembers him inaccurately.
So obviously we want people to listen to the podcast, Connie and Jack, A Rigged Game.
Yeah.
But if you could tease a little bit about the point shaving scandal that ultimately undid him, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. And I know I have to be careful not to give too many spoilers here. So this was sort of the second big scandal. The one in the CCNY in the early 50s was the first big college fixing scandal. And then this was the second one in the early 60s. Jack Molinas is the ringleader. He's just quickly on him. He was a legit dude. He was drafted 4th overall by the back then Fort Wayne Pistons. Like, he was a legitimate player. Gets booed. This isn't too much for it. Gets booted from the NBA for betting on his own games. Back then, dudes bet on their own games because their salary was junk. Like they were actually like supplementing their income. So anyway, so Jack becomes this big. He's a brilliant guy, and becomes this mob mastermind. And he and Connie, Jack was such a good basketball player that he would go to the playgrounds to recruit kids to bring them into the college fix because he could play with anyone. And Connie was one of the kids he met, playing around New York. And Connie met Jack. He knew Jack. He'd probably hung out with him a dozen times. But the mistake was he took a loan from Jack, and it was repaid shortly thereafter. But the fact that he took the loan sort of got him brought into the investigation. And I won't give any more, but he was he was innocent and sort of got dragged into it, and it really wrecked his life for 8 years.
Well, it's so interesting because in college basketball now, and in obviously some pros with like the Terry Rozier investigation going on, everything Pablo Torre is breaking constantly.
Yep.
We're sort of in an in-between of, hey, there is gambling. Mm-hmm. It is legal, and it's just right there, and we're talking about it. We're broadcasting it. We have DraftKings as a sponsor of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But everything's very close. And then it feels like the strategy for the NCAA and the NBA and wherever is just to like cross their fingers and just hope that nothing happens. But the echoes of this kind of scandal, we're sort of in between in the college basketball ranks, especially because like NIL is helping players make money, but it's not regulated in a way that is smooth or logical at this point. And so there's still a Wild West element to it. And maybe we're headed in the right direction. Maybe it's just going to be like bizarre forever. But like it feels these holes when the system is not fully fleshed out, it leaves it exposed for bad actors to step in and similar to something that happened with Connie Hawkins.
Totally. The parallels are gambling is now. I mean, think when we were, young kids, like you never saw any ads for any of this stuff. Obviously this stuff wasn't around. The sort of how much gambling, the prevalence of gambling now is sort of more like it was back when this story was told. I mean, it was very common, not just guys betting on their own games, but just in the sort of general culture. So I think the key difference. So I think this stuff's going to keep coming up. I think the Rozier and all this stuff, and it's, especially with the college guys, because what Molinas was looking for in a player was he was looking for obviously guys who could play because they're going to have the most influence over the game, but also he wanted dudes who are really financially insecure because they need, naturally they need the money. So I think that's the one thing the NBA, I think definitely had it right. Like they're sort of, taking the money and keeping their fingers crossed. The guys make so much more money today than they used to. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one thing. They don't really need it as much, at least the top dudes. That's one thing maybe the NBA has gone for it. The NCAA, like you said, like is still doing as least for the players, giving as little as they can as possible. They're just sort of, going kicking and screaming with that. So yeah, I think we're ripe for more of this stuff, I think, to keep coming out would be my guess.
Well, for as long as there has been like professional sports leagues or not professional sports leagues, there has been like links to either organized or disorganized crime because people can pay to affect the outcome. And you're right, when they're more vulnerable, when the players are coming from a less privileged place, then that just, the concept of how legitimate are these games, think about the NBA with the Tim Donaghy situation.
Totally. Yeah.
Like all this stuff. And that once people don't think it's real, it really makes it hard it puts the league at risk and the whole enterprise.
Yeah, and that's why I think Stern was so ruthless with how he dealt with the Donaghy stuff. And I think even this Connie stuff, like that book's out of print. I mean, David Stern is a young lawyer in this Connie case. That's how he comes up. So like this book is fantastic. It's one of the best books I've read, not just Sportsbook. Like it crossed my mind, like, did Stern just like kill this book? Like, did they not? Because the NBA essentially is a villain in this story. Yeah. So I completely agree. Yeah, they're It definitely makes you think, the NBA is a business, and this is just a story I think that shows how the business side of things, like they didn't want this to get out, and but yeah.
Well, it's a super interesting story. Obviously, Colin Kaepernick is another type of blackball in the more recent history.
Yes.
A lot of echoes across the board. How can people listen to Connie and Jack? How many episodes is it?
So it's 9. They're each about a half hour. Yeah. And so there's 3 of them out, and they'll be dropped the rest of Tuesday, Friday. So for like the next 3 weeks, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon.
Amazing.
Yeah. And one other thing I want to mention, Mike, is Sean Hawkins reads Connie's quotes in it.
Very cool.
Connie's grandson. Yeah. So he's involved with it. And yeah, I'm just so excited to finally get this out there and talk to you. And yeah, I had one other Sixers, just to give you some. I know I got a Sixers love for you. They called Dr. J Little Hawk. He was at Rucker because they reminded him. Dr. J saw Connie play, and he wanted to grow to 6'8" because Connie was 6'8". So there's that link there for your Sixer fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we should put the teaser here at the end so people can at least listen to it. It's very cool. I thought it was well done. Bo Belanger, Nick Kaner medleys, high school point guard.
That's
for
right.
For the college fans out there who remember. My buddy, I appreciate you, Bo. Good luck with everything.
Thank you, Mike. So great to be on. Thanks.
Are you down with TTP?
Yeah. Leg base.
If you don't fuck with me, then I won't fuck with you.
If you don't fuck with me,
then I won't fuck with you.
But if you fuck with me,
I'm gonna fucking kill you!
Time for plan B.